And good afternoon, members of the media. With us this afternoon is the Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Professor Ncube, Minister of Women Affairs, Community, Small to Medium Enterprise Development, Honorable Mchangwa, and Minister of Environment, Climate and Wildlife, Honorable Dr. Evelyn Ndlovu. And for the avoidance of doubt, the Minister of Industry and Commerce is here in his capacity and also Acting Minister of Information Broadcasting Services. Today, the 5th of April 2026, His Excellency the President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, chaired the 13th Cabinet meeting, and the following issues, among others, were considered and approved. First was the review of licenses, permits, levies, and fees in the mining sector. Cabinet noted and approved the review of licenses, permits, levies, and fees charged by ministries, departments, and agencies in the mining sector, which was presented by the Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Honorable Professor Mthuli Ncube. The review of licenses, permits, levies, and fees in the sector is in compliance with the Cabinet decision of 29 July 2025, which approved the implementation of a raft of business reforms in 12 sectors of the economy. The review process is aimed at reducing the cost of doing business, increasing competitiveness, enhancing the viability of enterprises, as well as enabling the growth of the Zimbabwean economy. More specifically, Cabinet approved the streamlining of duplicated and overlapping regulatory licenses and permits, removed unnecessary levies and fees, and lowered unjustifiably high levies and fees for the mining sector as per the following highlights. One is the duplicative and overlapping licenses and permits that are now streamlined under a single regulatory authority. Two, it's over 80% of the mining sector fees that are considered reasonable have been maintained. Three, the fee differentials based on operators' capacity to pay have been introduced, with license fees for artisanal small-scale mines being pegged at a fraction of fees payable by large firms. New regulatory fees such as gold jewelry permit and application for registration of approved processing plants for lithium have been introduced. Registration fees to deal with precious stones have been reduced and will be payable every 5 years. The Ministry of Mines and Mining Development annual fees for the first, second, and subsequent inspection fees for block of claims has been reduced. The Ministry of Mines and Mining Development trading on mining location fee has been scrapped, and the diamond cutting and polishing license fee has been reduced. Rural District Councils' land development levies have now been standardized. Cabinet also considered policy and legislative issues affecting the mining sector, including the ongoing review of the Mines and Minerals Act, the development of the Minerals Development Policy, and the operationalization of the mining cadastral system to ensure that mining licenses are granted, tracked, and managed in a legally binding and accurate manner. Other issues include capacitation of the relevant regulatory bodies to strengthen oversight of the mining sector and the formalization of the small-scale mining operations. Cabinet also noted the report on the 2026 Zimbabwe International Trade Fair as presented by the Minister of Industry and Commerce. The 66th edition of the ZITF was officially opened by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Botswana, Advocate Duma Gideon Boko, on 23 April 2026. The fair was held under the theme, I quote, Connected Economies, Competitive Industries, close quote. The total number of exhibitors increased from 795 in 2025 to 812 in 2026, with 98 being first-time exhibitors. The exhibition further witnessed an increase in private sector participation, which accounted for 61% of exhibitors, complemented by 39% contingent of government entities. Among the major highlights of the event was the Rural Industrialization and Economic Empowerment Indaba, held on 20 April 2026, where strategies to strengthen linkages between large-scale industry and micro, small, and medium enterprises, focusing on agro-processing and mineral beneficiation at local level were discussed. The ZITF 2026 Youth in Business Forum, held on the 21st of April 2026, focused on the topic Youth Financial Inclusion, Closing Gaps in Connected Economies, in order to empower young entrepreneurs with financing and innovation opportunities. A $1 million Youth Economic Empowerment Fund was launched to support youth-led business growth and development. The International Business Conference, IBC, held on 22 April 2026, drew more than 600 delegates. The Honorable Vice President Chiwenga reaffirmed government's commitment to the shift away from raw resource exports towards domestic manufacturing and value addition in mining and agriculture. Notably, the private sector called for a freeze on new regulations whose effect is to increase levies and licenses in order to address operational challenges. The Connect Africa Symposium, held on 24 April, brought together over 300 delegates to address the future of continental commerce. In his keynote address, Honorable Vice President Mohadi reiterated the need to optimize trade policies to take full advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area and to also harmonize standards as a key enabler of trade. The Digital Economy Conference reaffirmed Zimbabwe's strategic commitment to accelerating the digital transformation as a key enabler of economic growth. The conference successfully positioned artificial intelligence as a practical tool for driving innovation, improving public service delivery, and enhancing productivity across sectors such as agriculture, mining, health, and education. The 66th edition of ZITF was a resounding success, reinforcing Zimbabwe's status as a premier destination for investment and trade. Cabinet also noted and approved the Research Amendment Bill, which was presented by the Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, Honorable Ziyambi Ziyambi, as chairman of the Cabinet Committee.